say your name and your position?
Yeah, Jodie Cunningham, St Helens Women's captain and loose forward.
Perfect. So, first of all, you're an absolute icon of women's rugby in general, but specifically women's rugby league. Obviously, you're coming into the season with having been runners-up in the league and runners-up in the cup, having previously won it the year before. How do you think that's kind of helped with the mindset of going into this season? Are you looking for a revenge?
Yeah, definitely motivated. I think as soon as the season finished, we knew that we had some work to do for this year to come in ready and to hopefully get those trophies back. We've had a really tough pre-season, the toughest of my career, and this old body is really feeling it. So can't wait for games to actually start. So finally kicking off in the Challenge Cup this weekend. But yeah, we used it as motivation because, this is a club that has a great history of lifting trophies, across the men's game, and we've done it in recent years, brought a lot of trophies to this club. Last year to go trophyless wasn't nice, so hopefully, we get a chance to lift at least one trophy this year.
Obviously, there's a lot of local rivalries. You've got Warrington and you've got Wigan. Kind of how important are those derbies to you? And in terms of kind of the growth of the game, making sure you get as many people to those derbies and understanding the kind of rivalry that's there.
Yeah, especially Wigan, I think. I've always thought this in the men's game. Obviously, Wigan and St Helens have always been so strong. They're always up there competing for trophies and lifted countless trophies between the two. And I think because of that local rivalry, it actually forces each other to be better. Saints need a good Wigan to be at their best, and the other way around, Wigan need a good Saints to be at their best. In the women's game, until recent, the last year or two, Wigan weren't quite there, and we kind of were the ones lifting the trophies. Now Wigan are pushing us to be better because they've done all the hard work, and they've created a team that went and did the treble. So we need to now match that and make sure that we're ready to go and fight and hopefully take some trophies back. But for me, the derby is a brilliant opportunity for us to improve each other in all ways, and hopefully, attract as many fans as we can to get down to the games, because that added derby kind of rivalry definitely, I think, makes a more attractive spectacle for the fans.
Perfect. And while it's not rugby league in the sense of the Red Roses and their success with England, obviously you're England captain as well and such an icon for English rugby league. Kind of, how do you think that there will be a increase, especially in the northwest where we don't really have a rugby union presence, that will impact the people going and looking at rugby going, I might not have a rugby union team but have a rugby league, let's go support them, in terms of the attendances overall across the season, and especially with the cup coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I think, look, we're really fortunate. So when rugby union grows, as much as the competition for girls who want to play, actually a lot of our girls, particularly until they get to like an open age successful team, often play both. They does get to a point where they have to choose, but up until that point, there's a lot of crossover. So actually they encourage the teammates. So people who play rugby union will then try rugby league and then encourage more of the teammates to do the same. And we've been really fortunate to benefit from that in our club, particularly, Holly Bowden that we got from Sale, Rachel Woozy, again, who'd been at Sale. We've really benefited from that rugby union crossover in terms of player pool. So hopefully in terms of fans as well, that if you enjoy rugby, you tend to enjoy both. And I think if we can try and get hold of some of the fans who maybe through the summer months don't have as much rugby union to watch and would like to come down and watch some rugby league, I think that'd be brilliant.
Perfect. And finally, you've been placed in Group A with Castle Dragons and Huddersfield Giants. Obviously, you play Huddersfield away at the weekend. Kind of, what are your thoughts on your group, and kind of how do you think the game's going to feel for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got the toughest group. We've not got it easy, but I think that, in the long run, I think that will benefit us. Some of the other teams will have probably less competitive games to start off with. Some of the other bigger teams who are, we'd probably predict we might get in the later rounds, if we manage to get out of the group. So, yeah, it's a tough group, but I think it's a benefit to us if we do manage to get through that group, because then we've had a real challenge at the start of the season. We've been tested, and hopefully we'll be better at the back end of the competition because of it. Huddersfield, they've recruited really well. Their under-19s were fantastic last year. I run our academy team here at Saints, and Huddersfield were fantastic, and they beat everybody in the Women's Super League under 19. So I know they'll have some great talent coming in. We're not too sure what to expect from them, and Catalan is a complete new entity. You know, we've never played them before, so again, we don't really know what to expect, but we know we're going to have to be at our best for the next couple of weeks in order to get through to the next round of the Challenge Cup.
Finally, my one last question.
Yeah.
In terms of obviously your role as kind of the head of the girls' pathways, kind of can you give us a little bit more of your role, like what you do in your role, and kind of how it positively impacts St Helens and Women's Rugby League as a whole?
Yeah, so my role at the club is head of women's pathways and performance. Basically anything to do with the women and girls elite programme here at the club. So that's, you know, running from an administrative perspective, the first team and everything that we need, putting everything in place for the first team. And then from an academy and a 16s perspective, again, just running the programme, selecting the girls that come into the pathways, and just, you know, hopefully professionalising that system as much as we can. The 16s is new. We've only done 1 year of that. That's called the P2P programme across the Women's Super League. And the academy last year, it was the first full season the academy have played as well, under 19. So really exciting times and changes. Hopefully, you know, having myself involved, I understand what, you know, the women's game needs, what I would have needed and liked when I was, you know, a young girl coming through the systems. So hopefully that means I can put it in place, and I'll absolutely always be able to empathise with the girls and support them and understand them, and hopefully pass on a little bit of my experience as I'm now, you know, at back end of my career. Hopefully I can pass on a lot of that to the young girls that are coming through, so that when they do go on to make their first team debut at Saints, that they're the best player they can be.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
It was slightly disappointing in the last year, losing in the final to Wigan.
Yeah.
How do you think the team have sort of recovered from that loss?
Yeah, it hurt, and I think whenever you get, you know, beat in a big final and you maybe don't perform as well as you believe that you can, that you've got to kind of let it hurt. You've got to let it sting, and we did that in the off-season. Went away, licked our wounds, and then we came back ready to go. We started in mid-November, so it's been a very long pre-season. It's been the toughest I've ever done as a player, so we've really put the hard work in, because we don't want to be in that situation again. You know, everything in our control, we want to make sure that we put everything we can into it. And sport's unpredictable. You can't guarantee that means you'd lift trophies at the end of the year, but you can definitely put yourself in a good position to go out there and fight for it, and that's what we've been doing.
Who would you say are the players to sort of watch out for in the team this season?
Oh, I could say all of them. I'll pick out a few for you. Obviously, we've got Paige Travis returning from the NRLW, and I think the experience that she's got out there will be pivotal to us this year. She looks so strong in training. She's such an aggressive player, which is brilliant. You know, I think some of our younger girls that are training against her week in, week out get a little bit feared when she ramps up in training, but it's brilliant, and I can't wait to see her back in the team, back in the fold, and her bringing that leadership as well. Erin McDonald. So Erin last year was struggling to get into the squad at the start. She's a really young girl, come through our academy pathway. Towards the end of the year, she was one of, you know, the best performing forwards, not just in our team, in the league. She was outstanding, and off the back of that has earned an England call-up. So she's been training with the England setup all through off-season. Again, it's done massive things for her confidence, and we're going to get the best out of her this year, and really excited to see what she does. I think we've got some exciting young academy girls that have come up as well, some new girls into the squad. Tracy Ojaburu, she's come through our academy. If we get to see her on the field, we signed her as a centre, we made her a prop, and she's one of the most devastating players. I don't even like holding a bag when she's tackling in training, because she's so powerful. So I'm excited to see what she does if she makes a debut this year. And then Becca Rotherham, to be fair, I think Becca's been in and out of the team in different ways, on the wing, at full-back, and she's cemented the number 1 shirt again this year, and thoroughly deserved off the back of her performances last year. So I'm excited to see what year Becca has. She's been pivotal for us in the past, and I know she's going to be this year as well.
And how much would boost have players like Paige Travis, and especially Leah Burt, given how well she did back in 2024 in the squad?
Yeah, Leah, another one. That's like a new signing, having Leah back. Obviously, she missed all of last year. She's such a phenomenal athlete. She's a leader. She sets standards that everybody else has to follow. The way she trains, even with her ACL injury, she was one of the best trainers in the squad. She doesn't complain. She doesn't moan. She just gets on with it and makes sure she comes back the best version of herself. And for me, there's no one I'd rather take the field with. I just think she'll be outstanding this year, and I think everybody in the squad, but probably everyone in Women's Super League, will be hoping she has a good season this year, because she deserves a little bit of luck as well. You make your own luck, I suppose, but she definitely deserves some luck on the field, and she's put all the hard work in to make sure she gets that. So for us, having the likes of Leah in the squad, Paige, and all the experience she's brought back, yeah, it's a massive confidence boost when you see them in the change room.
And are you pleased with the media coverage Women's Rugby League has been getting over the past couple of years, in particular having a TV deal with Sky?
Yeah, look, it's not something I ever even imagined. When I was a young girl, I didn't think rugby league would get to the heights it has, and it's only growing. It's only getting better year on year. Being able to play live on Sky, live on the BBC in the Challenge Cup, playing at Wembley, playing in stadiums like this week in, week out is just phenomenal. It's crazy, because for some of the young girls coming up, that's all they've ever known. To me, every week I have to kind of pinch myself at the opportunities we get. So, yeah, that's amazing that the coverage we're getting now means we've got household names within the women's game, and you've got young girls turning up with women's names on the back of the shirt. And that's every time. It doesn't get old. Like when you see a little girl and they've got Cunningham on the back, I'm like, wow, that is incredible. And I think that's literally down to the exposure at the Women's Super League and all the different broadcast and media coverage that we get now. It allows young girls to dream and see what they want to go on and achieve, and hopefully, our girls set really good role models in place so that they can follow in their footsteps.
And what would you say are the team's aspirations for the year?
It's always to lift trophies, and that's, it's never coming from a cocky or arrogant place. It's just, a confidence in the team and how hard we've worked. And we've got so much talent in our squad, so much leadership and experience as well, which I think goes a really long way. And we've really put the graft in this pre-season. So, look, I definitely want to make sure that we're in there competing in the big games, competing in finals, and looking around the room at training and seeing the talent that we've got. There's no reason why we can't lift trophies. Obviously, Wigan, Leeds, York, Huddersfield are going to have a lot to say about that, but for us, we want to be bringing some trophies back in 2026, and hopefully we can make that happen.
And finally, what are your personal aspirations for the year?
Look, mine's always just to contribute to the team and know that I'm kind of earning my place week in, week out. I try and put a lot of my emphasis on hard work and work rate, because I can control that. I can't control whether I do or don't score tries or do or don't miss tackles, but I can make sure that I work hard off the pitch in terms of getting myself fit enough and strong enough to do what I need to do. And then on the pitch, just making sure I keep working hard and mentally keep myself in a good place so that I can keep turning up for the team. So, they're my goals, is to just get on the pitch week in, week out, keep myself fit, keep myself in good shape, and then just come off every pitch knowing I couldn't have worked any harder. If I can do that each week, then I'll be happy at the end of the year, whatever happens.
Thanks very much.
No worries.
Cheers.
Thank you.